fascinated by hoes. I'll say it. I'm absolutely fascinated by the way the hoe mind works, the way the hoe hive works. I'm fascinated.
Next
I
documentary.
cover it on my show. You are correct. It is trending.
Saying, and that's why
when
it's such a
Emma
hot
gets
topic
up
to
and does a
speak
video
about.
and says something like, it's chic to be divorced before you're 30. It is absolutely fascinating to see how someone's mind can be so warped. In the same way that I think it's fascinating when anybody does anything crazy or says anything crazy, and I cover it on my podcast. I am not knocking it at all. I just tell people what the facts are. You can choose this lifestyle, and here is where you are 99.9% likely to lead in your life, right? You are probably not destined for marriage. You're probably not destined for a stable relationship. Men are going to not want this long term. You can say it 1,000 times. You can have 1,000 cultural examples, and women's still got to go out there and be hoes, because they're about their money and about a Cardi B song or whatever it is. So yes, I think it is fascinating.
Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. If you are new here, welcome. I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button. And if you're returning, welcome back. I truly do appreciate your continued support on my channel, and I hope that you are subscribed as well. So I have seen so many conversations about this massive surge in women making a career out of creating explicit content using their body. To my knowledge, because I am not familiar with all of the popular adult content sites, OnlyFans has become one of the leading platforms for this kind of thing. Where we used to think of creating adult content in the context of actually having to make films with a crew and with raunchy titles, and you had to go to like an adult film store to rent or purchase this kind of thing. At least that's how it went in my head, because again, not something I'm overly familiar with. It was something that was created by a means of production and everything that goes along with it. However, with the development and expansion of the internet and social media over the last couple of decades, this kind of thing has not only become easier to access, but easier to create. There's no need for a production crew or even fellow cast members. All that's needed is a camera and paying customers. So I've seen several videos and interviews discussing all aspects of this industry. And if you came to this video looking for me to justify or excuse it in any way, or even use the phrase, as long as both partners are consenting, this is not going to be that video for you.
Fasten your seatbelts.
I am 100% against this industry in all of its forms. I don't care who is participating in it or who is creating it. It does nothing but destroy, demoralize, and dehumanize. And there are a few things that are happening in today's society that are related to this that are so deeply concerning, and I am hoping that we can put the brakes on and recognize what is happening so that we can course correct. First, there's this massive surge in young women who have become so desensitized, who truly believe that this is an industry of sexual liberation and who believe that this is the opportunity to allow them to live however they want to live without consequences.
Big mistake. Big. Huge.
As long as they want to do it, then that's all that matters. If you've ever watched the Whatever podcast, that's what is on the screen right now, you will find dozens of these conversations between people that have more traditional views versus women who defend this life of no moral boundaries whatsoever. There are women who go on here and they brag about having had dozens, if not hundreds, of sexual partners and who are very open about this career as an OnlyFans model and see absolutely no problem with it.
I have a very big body count and I'm very happy, and I'm in
What's
stable romantic arrangements.
What's the body count?
Probably like 300 something.
300 something. Okay. And you said 300.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Mine's at like 50.
50. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm also at 50.
50.
And they do not believe that there are going to be any long-term consequences. And every time they are completely shocked when the people that are on there expressing the more traditional views open their eyes to the fact that what they are doing now actually matters, and it's going to matter in the future when and if they decide to get married and have a family, and decide that these are things that they actually want, which at the time, at the stage in life that they are in right now, they're thoroughly convinced that they're not going to. But spoiler alert, just by having the biology of a woman, eventually you do have this natural urge to want to raise a family, to have kids, to settle down, and you realize that the things that you valued and that you thought were important in your late teens, early 20s, even mid to late 20s, suddenly change drastically the older you get and the more experience that you have. Your priorities change, your vision for your life changes, and you realize that you are going to get older, you are going to progress in life, and the things that you want to look back on are not actually the things that you thought you would value.
No, that wasn't a question.
And as I have expressed many times on my channel, it seems that we are definitely raising a generation that is more concerned with the here and now and seem to be completely incapable of grasping the bigger picture. There seems to just be this overwhelming theme in the mindset of today's teens and young adults that is just very, very short-sighted. And I also think that we are failing on a massive level to recognize just how much social media has influenced this downward moral spiral that we are on right now. Don't get me wrong, I think that there are a lot of really great things about social media. I definitely don't think that it's all bad, but I think it's contributed largely to the moral decay across society in more ways that we are ever going to be able to understand. Something that has caught my attention lately that somebody brought up in another video and that kind of got the wheels turning a little bit is in the vein of this surge in adult content creation. It's this idea of the Instagram to TikTok to OnlyFans pipeline.
I think you're onto something.
If you've ever listened to anyone with a knowledge of the adult entertainment industry and the negative impacts of it, you will know that the consumer of it usually starts out by looking at material that's more tame, and more often than not, people don't start out in the most extreme areas of the internet with the most depraved material. They start out with things that are more mild. And much like being exposed to drugs, because it does trigger the same high as being on heroin, they eventually start to seek out things that are more and more extreme. On the other side of it, there has been raised a very valid concern about what is happening among young teens and young adults as soon as they start posting these cute photos of themselves and what has now, obviously been dubbed the selfie. When they do that, they get these likes, they get this praise, they get attention, and they get compliments, and it does give them a bit of this high. So they do it again. They get the same positive feedback, and it's really nice to hear. It boosts their confidence. But there's also the fact that posting cute selfies, it might get old after a while, and that attention might start to wane. So in order to get another hit, they might post something a little more scandalous next time, more revealing, a little bit more unexpected, something with a little bit more of that shock value, and then you can see where this is going. Their boundaries are starting to come down. Those lines are starting to be erased. The things that would have kept them from posting, the more scandalous things in the first place are now completely moved out of the way because of this slow progression that is happening. And it started out with this need for likes and clicks, and also being completely separated from the real world and not having to face the people that are viewing their pictures. But along the way, they become more and more comfortable with showing more of their body. They didn't start out with a fully nude pic, and it just took the slow conditioning of reinforcement by people on social media that pushed them to take it further and further every time they post.
You don't understand. I could have had class.
And obviously, I'm not saying that every single girl that posts a cute selfie on Instagram or TikTok is destined to be an OnlyFans model, but I think that we can see, as people have become more comfortable with posting everything, anything and everything online, and having that separation between themselves and other human beings, that it could very well lead to a career like this. That, and this idea of normalizing behavior simply because it's something that you want to do and nobody should have anything to say about it. We have heard that what is right and wrong now is just entirely, completely subjective when it does specifically come to this industry with that foundation that society is setting that you can pretty much do whatever you want if you think it's okay and you think it's right. It's not a shock and surprise that we end up with more young people, particularly young women, choosing to end up in this industry. They went from wanting the likes and the clicks and becoming more and more comfortable with showing their body to now craving that reward of the income, of being able to get whatever material possessions that they want, being able to buy the most expensive things and having that social currency. And I don't think that women my age are doing a great job of setting a better example, because I am shocked at how often I log onto any of my social media and I see women that are more middle-aged or older, and how comfortable that we've become with just posting pictures, not me myself, because I would never do that, but women just posting pictures of themselves in their underwear for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Again, I can't believe how normal. I don't know why I'm laughing. It just has become so normal. It's like, you know, you see women that are just posting a picture of their family, a picture of their dog, a picture of their home improvement project, and suddenly it's just yourself in your underwear. It's like just completely normal across the board. It's this body positivity movement. I should be able to show anything and everything. And I'm not saying that anybody should shame their body or make comments about how they look, but it's just the fact that we've become so desensitized and that we think that there's nothing sacred about who we are, that we don't have to protect ourselves in any way, that we can just put it out there and that there's not going to be any consequence for it whatsoever. And it's unfortunate because there are going to be repercussions for this later, at a time when these young girls do get older and they realize that they do want the more traditional things, because most of the time that is what happens. Those are our natural instincts. We want to contribute. We want to have something to love and to care for. And we want those things that are not material, that don't bring a lot of value. Eventually our priorities do shift, and unfortunately when they get to that place, they realize that their decisions as a younger person that were sold to them by society as being normal and acceptable, with no repercussions and no negative impact whatsoever, that they realize that they bought something completely false and now they cannot change it.
If I'm gonna be a senator, well, I need to marry a Jackie, not a Marilyn.
So I would love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments below. Please like this video. I would love it if you would subscribe. I do have a goal of reaching 10,000 subscribers by my birthday, which is in less than 2 months. So I've probably got to get about 150 subscriptions a day at this point. If you like this kind of commentary that I offer, where I just talk about the issues of today and the things that I think are just contributing to the dumpster fire that we live in as a society right now, like I said, please hit that subscribe button. Keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.